What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel, Pete's Carport. Today we're going to get started on working on the new to me, W110 chassis 200D. It's a 1967 Mercedes. And for those of you who have not checked out the videos where I received the car and went and looked at it, I'm going to put links below so you can kind of start from the beginning. But today we're going to start on our restoration project. But before we do that, let's get ourselves some coffee. And that brings us to our sponsor. Today's sponsor is Zeal Coffee Roasters. Not only do they produce some of the most amazing coffee that I've ever had, they are also owned by yours truly. So, I'm going to put a link in below that you can go to purchase some of this awesome coffee. And guess what? All the profits will help support this channel and further these builds. So help me out, guys. Thanks again. Let's get started on the car. Alright, guys, so here she is. My first goal was to get her running, but I realized the battery underneath here is completely dead. It's an awesome battery. It's a very big Mercedes battery. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out first, throw that thing on the charger, and on this video, we're going to get started on pulling out some of this interior. Oh. Let's get, probably get these seats out, and we can start cleaning them down and messing around with that floorboard. I was in here earlier and saw some bugs, and I hate bugs, so I'm going to go ahead and get this sucker cleaned out. We're going to look at the floorboard, see where we can go from there. So stay tight. That's what we're going to be doing today. Alrighty, guys, so we just went ahead and sawzawed the only piece that was really holding on in the back here. So kind of the good news is the frame that goes down the middle here to basically brace the seats to, also for extra support, it's like a cross beam, is very solid, very solid. So the bolts came out very nicely. There was no heavy rust on the bolts, which was surprising. And obviously the back area was completely rusted out. This is pretty much falling through the floor. That's the ground there. And so this is going to have to be completely redone, as well as the floorboards up front here. But at least our subframe and our frame seem to be very solid on this car. So I want to show you next on the seats. Now, if you can see, the interior is all a tannish color, even across the top of that dash along here. And this is something I noticed when I was first looking at the vehicle. And I want to show you now because we're going to get ready to clean down this seat. And I also wanted to talk about the seats because they seem to be in functioning condition. So no heavy rust along the bottom. It was just the frame that basically the back panel that it was attached to that was rusted out, but not the actual seat components themselves. If you look here, they seem to be in great shape. There's a little rust down here which we can grind out, but that looks like it's still a solid piece. And the condition of the seats, although they don't look that great right now, are not that bad. There's just a few tears that I think we can fix up and not spend too much money on the seats right now and have it look pretty good. But what I wanted to show you is, you can see right here, that is blue. And if you look, there's some scrapes in the interior that are blue. And I noticed on the door panels the same thing. On some pieces that were coming apart, the insides were blue. And if you look along the stitching there, it's blue. So, crazy enough, I believe somebody actually redid this, painted it, somewhere along the lines, this tan color, which maybe blue is really not a cool color. I think it's awesome because it's very nostalgic. And tan was a much better fit for what this customer wanted. And maybe they had their seats redone and then just painted or dyed or however it was done, but it looks like a top coat paint. So I'm going to play around and see if I could even get some of that off because we're going to have to recolor it most likely anyways. So I'm going to get started on that now. Let's get them cleaned up, see what they look like. Also, the seat belts are blue, so that's a definite idea that they probably were definitely blue or maybe taken out of another car and they just pulled the seat belts. But we'll look at everything inside and see if we can determine whether all of the interior was blue. All right, guys, so I got the driver and passenger seat out so you guys can see the difference. Just simple green and a little scrubbing. And I am not done with this yet. You know, this is really just the first pass. And if we look at this seat has not been touched yet, I just pulled it out. Now, I have definitely figured out that the original seat colors were blue. You can see on the bottom railings, there's some overspray paint. And I'm not upset about that in any way. In fact, this car is going to, it's not going to be a perfect restoration. I want to try to make it look as good as possible. I want to say on a budget without sparing some of the most important parts like brakes, the engine, the transmission. But as far as bodywork goes, these are things that I can look into or just kind of keep it nostalgic looking, fix it up the way that, you know, it might have looked when this person purchased it and redid the seats and, you know, kind of brought it back at that moment. So if we can at least bring it back to looking like maybe it looked when it was about 15, 20 years old, that would be cool with me too. So we're going to try to get rid of as much rust as we can. And let's move into there because I got a lot done today. It's only taken me about 2 hours and I'm not able to video everything. So I want to show you guys as I go. You know, I wasn't aware how bad the floorboards were. I thought they were completely gone on all sides. You can see this one is, I'm going to be cutting that out. I got my saws out. I'm going to cut this front one out. And this front one here is actually really good. It's very solid. There's some areas that have holes, but those can be filled with some sheet metal. And I'm not sure about this one yet because I haven't pulled anything out, but all of the frame is very solid. Most of it still has the paint on it. You can see this is very solid here, this cross beam. And so I'm very happy. Even underneath, I ripped out the carpet. This is still, I don't know if it's original, but this foam is still in place. It's not wet in any way. Obviously, water had gotten in and gotten underneath the floorboards, and that's what caused this rust. But I don't think it was driven heavily in salt, which is awesome because it was probably just stored for a very long time. So I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I'm going to get going on cutting these areas out. Now, I have the option of purchasing original floorboards. I think it's about $500 for the whole set. I might go that route, or I might try to mold some sheet metal and for very inexpensive have somebody come and weld those in just to have something in place, and then purchase some original carpet that I have found online. And so I might just lay that out. So once again, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is such a fun project. It looks like it's going to be a doable thing. As you can see, the seats are coming along very nicely. And I'm excited about that. You can see a huge difference from how they looked when I pulled them out all nasty and grimy. And there's not a whole lot of wear and tear on them. So I think what I'm going to do is just try to do some DIY repair on these for now. And eventually, if I want to fully restore this car, we could go and fully reupholster it, which is going to cost a little bit. So we're going to keep this on a budget right now and make it look as good as we can with what we have and try to only purchase the items that are completely gone and need full replacement. Thanks again, guys. My name's Pete. I hope you're enjoying this project so far. It was not something I planned for this channel, but I am more than thrilled and excited to see this thing just become a part of my life and for you guys to see it also just evolve. All right, guys, have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share. Please let people know about this that are interested in these old Mercedes, and have an awesome day, guys.